Howdy. It is us. Welcome to Coffee Conversations. Ooh, that's good today. What is that? Starbucks? Starbucks. Don't wait in line at Starbucks.
Yeah, buy it. Buy it from the store and make it yourself. Don't succumb to all that bogus, basic propaganda Starbucks puts out.
Don't be basic. This is Wes. I'm Dan. We're Coffee Conversations from Athletic Aesthetics. Hope you're all enjoying 2021. It is beautiful outside. Snowing.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
It's snowy. It's beautiful. It's the new year. Everything seems pretty calm right now, at least until January 6th. So we're enjoying our time. Today, the topic of discussion is talking about training phases and what that means and how to put it together. Okay? So that we're not trying to do too many things at once, so our body actually has a chance to adapt.
And to make what you're doing specific to the goals that you're trying to reach at that particular moment. So your runner's analogy is pretty good to start with.
Yeah, so I've recently been talking to a lot of runners, and the same problem keeps arising. And I actually did a topic about it on a live solo live.
Show them the back.
RIP to
No, it's on Peacock now. We're gonna get it.
assistant to the regional manager. Anyway, so there are some people out there who are trying to put on muscle, but they're also running a lot. And so I'm trying to explain to them, look, if you want to do one thing, then you can't be doing half and half. It's like, where are you going to put your energy at? Like, if you're going to put your energy 50-50 into two projects, you're half-assing both projects, and so both projects are not going to turn out great for you. All right, it's the same concept when you are trying to get fit, right? What is your goal? You have to know what your goal is. So if your goal is to put on muscle, right, but you're doing 50% of your workouts lifting and 50% of your workouts cardio and running, you're not going to get great results in either, right? You're going to get half results in both, right? So you're doing good, you're being fit, right? But you're not going to get the results that you're looking for if you're looking to put on muscle mass, all right? And so that's what we want to talk about today. We want to talk about putting your training in phases so that you can focus on one thing at a time and get really good at that one thing and then switch the phase into the next thing that you want to work on.
Right. If that is your vision. Some people just want to be able to run a lot and lift a lot, and that's okay, but like Dan said, you're never going to be great at one or the other. If general physical fitness is your overall goal, then maybe this isn't the discussion for you, but we're talking about if you want to be really, really good at one thing. So if you like running and you want to keep running and build muscle, that's okay, but you can't let one outweigh the other, or else that's going to take precedence. So you can do both, but you need to put your focus where you're trying to actually go.
Yep. Yeah, so the problem that I've been having with the clients that are coming to me and they hire me is because they're running and lifting in the same session. They're doing that over and over again, and they wonder why they can't build muscle. And I'm saying, well, is building muscle your goal? Yes. Well, then you need to stop running so much or doing so much cardio in your sessions. And they're like, well, what? I'm like, yeah, every single time you're doing a whole bunch of cardio, you're catabolizing your muscle. And then you're probably not eating enough.
Well, that's it. Like, the food and the recovery isn't there. Like,
yes.
Theoretically, maybe if somebody wanted to do as much as he's talking about, you could possibly get away with it and still build muscle. But you'd have to eat like a horse, which none of you runners are. You'd have to recover like an absolute baby, which none of us humans in the adult world are doing.
It's impossible, right?
You can't.
And, if you look at CrossFit lifts a lot of weights, a lot of resistance training, a lot of cardio, okay? But you ask anybody who's doing CrossFit, they should be eating a ton of food because you burn in upwards of 1,000 calories in a workout, right? And if your BMR is anywhere between 1,800 or 1,500 and 2,000, right? And you're burning upwards of 1,000 calories you need at least 2,500 to 3,000 calories each day just to maintain what you're doing.
Right. And if
Okay.
you're trying to build muscle, you're not trying to maintain anything.
Correct. Because you need a surplus
So
if
you
you're trying
need
to build muscle.
more than what he just said. How many of you guys out there eating 3,500 calories? Probably not many.
No shot. All right, so that's the problem that I've been coming across lately, and that's why we're bringing it up today. All right, so to give you an example of a training phase, all right, this is how Weston and I train. So Weston, way back before his wedding, so his wedding was at the end of September, and then they had the honeymoon afterwards in the beginning of October, and he was training to do a lot of hiking. How much hiking did you do?
Total?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know.
Like 50 miles plus?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
50 plus miles of hiking. So he was training on purpose with lighter weights, less heavy lifting, less bulking. He lost 10 pounds, right? All in a 12-week training phase to prepare for 50 plus miles of hiking, right? So then the hike came, the 50 plus miles of hiking came, it went, he comes back. We just did 12 weeks of heavy lifting, hypertrophy training, to prepare us for our next phase, which is starting tomorrow, of heavy lifting, of actual heavy lifting, like heavy reps, heavy sets, low reps, okay? So there's 3 phases right there that's taken us from, about June, July-ish? July. It's taken us from July until January. 3 separate phases where we focused on 3 separate things. Okay, so we were in those 12 weeks. We were able to adapt highly to what we were trying to accomplish.
Right, and to go back to July, I think you guys all know that my absolute favorite thing to do is to push weight. And I had to take a step back from that because it didn't align with what my goals were. And my goals were to, 1, look good for my wedding, and 2, be able to smoke any hike or any trail that we took on. So I sacrificed some of what I enjoyed because I knew that the end result was going to yield me a better return. So that was me actually being real with what I needed to do to get to what I wanted to accomplish. And that's what it all comes back to. You got to do what you need to do, not what you want to do.
Yep. And what Weston needed to do in order to hike was to do more cardio and to drop some weight. Okay, so that's the big thing. So he was doing cardio and lifting weights, and he dropped weight. That's big, right? So those of you who are doing cardio and lifting weights but want to gain muscle, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Weston is a guy who can put on muscle mass very easily. Look at him Popeye arms, right? But he can gain muscle very easily, but he was doing cardio and lifting weights and then dropped 10 pounds. Okay, so if you are trying to do cardio and lift weights, you're not going to gain weight unless you're eating a ton of calories. A ton of calories. How many calories do you eat to gain muscle, to bulk?
Dude, like 3,300.
3,300?
It kind of becomes a thing of like, I have to figure out what my body can process at that time. But on paper, I should be eating 3,500. But I don't think I can digest and use 3,500 worth. So usually I have to work my way up to it. But at least over 3,000, bare minimum.
And then what were you eating when you lost 10 pounds doing a bunch of hiking, cardio, and
about
lifting?
25. But my output was probably a little bit higher from all the extra trail runs and stuff.
Okay, so there you go. 2,500 calories to even lose weight, to lose 10 pounds while doing cardio and lifting. Okay, if he would have stayed at 3,300, 3,500, he wouldn't have lost those 10 pounds. He would have gotten fit, but he still would have been doing the 50-50, right? And not gaining a whole lot of muscle and not getting the best amount of cardio, because it's hard to be good at cardio weighing so much. weighing 190 pounds or close to 200 pounds versus 180 pounds, 185 pounds.
Yeah, it makes things a little easier.
Mm-hmm. All right, so what we're trying to say is, okay, you really want to make your training go in 12 to 16 week blocks or 12 to 16 week phases, okay? And so our best example is us. And so we did a 12-week hypertrophy phase where all of our lifts were focused in the 8 to 12 rep range for our main days, our main lifting days, and then some of our like active recovery days were, you know, higher pump reps and stuff like that, but they were feeding into our higher rep days. And we did that to prepare our bodies, to prepare our muscle, to prepare our energy systems, prepare our tendons and our joints to do a 12 to 16 week strength phase where we're going to be doing all 6 reps or less with much higher intensity, much higher load, and less volume, right? So we prepared our whole entire body for 12 weeks to go into another 12-week phase. And then after that, we will go into another phase that's going to be more about shredding. If you're keeping up with cardio, how can you still? What's up, Maggie? So at the end of this 12 weeks that we're just about to enter tomorrow, then we're going to go, it's time to shred up for summer. So then we're going to be doing a little less lifting, a little more cardio, just to shred up. Okay? And we'll drop our calories a little bit because we want to be popping out of our shirts for the beach season.
What she asked?
If you're keeping up with cardio, how can you still build muscle on top of that? So you just tuned in, so you missed it a little bit ago. So if you're doing cardio and you are lifting weights, you just have to eat a ton of calories.
Yeah. Well, and also, what does keeping up with cardio mean? Does that mean you're doing enough just to stay, like, quote unquote, in shape, or does that mean you're doing cardio 7 times a week? So that matters.
Ask yourself what your main goal is. What's your main purpose? What's your main purpose for doing cardio and lifting? Are you just trying to look good and be fit? Are you trying to build muscle? Are you trying to enter a CrossFit competition because you're in CrossFit? Are you trying to do a half marathon? What's your goal? Right? If your goal is to run a half marathon, then you're using the weightlifting just to supplement your running. If you're trying to build muscle, then you need to be eating a ton of calories and focusing on the weightlifting part, and then just do a little cardio on top of that to stay in shape and keep endurance. So, pretty general goal, right? So you can do both. You just have to make sure that you're eating a lot of food.
And I don't think if you're just doing enough to stay in shape and keep endurance, you're not gonna have to like gorge yourself to make up those calories. But an extra, we're usually talking about the weight loss because that's usually what most people are needing help with. But it's in versus out, so now we're just talking about the other side of that spectrum. So if your expenditure is higher that day because it was cardio day or it was a 2-a-day or whatever, just replenish those calories. So if your bout of cardio burned 400 calories, eat 400 calories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, really, when it comes to changing what your body looks like, it's very much 70% what you eat, how you eat it, and 30% what you're doing for your fitness goal, for your exercise goal. Okay, so, you're doing CrossFit, Maggie, at least the last time I checked. Maybe you've changed it up a little bit, but obviously there's equal parts cardio and equal parts endurance, equal parts lifting. And really, you're doing lifting for cardio. Like, you're not just doing straight running. You're doing resistance training in a way that is endurance and cardio based. So that's obviously a lot more stress on the muscles. So you're going to need plenty of food in order to, keep your muscles from eating themselves, essentially, right? From catabolizing, right? And keeping your endurance. Keeping your muscle mass and keeping your endurance. It's just the amount of food that you eat. It's a good question. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, so I think what it pretty much all wraps up into is, 1, eat enough to supply whatever energy demands that you're applying to your body. And if you're trying to lose weight, then that's different than what we're talking about. But if you're trying to build muscle and you don't want to see that scale go down, then it needs to become a job to make sure that you do get those extra calories in. And going back to what the video is about, is training phases. Just, plan ahead for what you want out of your life in the next 3 months. So in July, I wanted to be in shape. Once again, look good for the wedding, be able to keep up with any trail we hit. when I got back from that, now it was kind of more, okay, let's get back to my roots. And you can't just go straight from that like cardio endurance phase when I lost weight and I was in a deficit. You can't go straight into a strength phase. It's not going to work. So we had to kind of ease I did. Dan just kind of is along for the ride. And we had to just ease our way back into strength, which was perfect because hypertrophy is kind of my thing and then strength is kind of his thing. So we complement each other well there. But we're thinking ahead. We're not just walking into the gym and figuring it out. We know a general rule or general guideline of what we want our body to be looking like in the next 4 weeks, in the next 8 weeks, in the next 12 weeks. And then when you hit that goal, then figure it out from there. It might be time to change your training phases. 1, so you don't get bored, but 2, so your body has to adapt to new challenges. Because if you do the same thing every single day over and over and over, your body's going to look the same way it has for the last, year.
Yeah. That's a good one, right? Because your body has to have the chance to adapt. Body has to have the chance to adapt. So get really, really good at one thing, whether it's building muscle mass, whether it's shredding fat, whether it's getting strong, right? Get really, really good at one thing for 12 to 16 weeks, and then shake it up. Go into a different phase. So phases. Get really, really good at one thing for 3 to 4 months, and then change it up. That's as simple as we can put it. All right? You got anything else?
Happy hustle.
I think that's good. All right, so this is Weston. I'm Dan. We are both coaches for the last 6 years. We love everything health, fitness, and weightlifting, and we are your leaders in the subject, and we love doing this on Athletic Aesthetics. Bing! Here to drop some knowledge and show you guys the ways of the force, the lifting force. Sorry, I've been on a Star Wars kick lately. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you guys have more questions, feel free to message us either on Athletic Aesthetics or on our individual pages. We love y'all. Happy hustle.
Have a great Sunday, everybody. Be safe.